The real estate market's heating up, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. Spring market's here. The summer market's coming. You have to get ready. You are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. I'm going to give you some advice to get you ready to roll for the 2025 real estate market. And if you stay to the end, I got a little treat for you if you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent. So, ready, set, here we go. What's up? My name is Kurt Loomis. I'm a licensed real estate broker with eXp Realty here in the beautiful Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we are one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. And I want to give you a little bit of advice if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, what you need to do in order to get ready to roll to deal with a competitive market. So I've been in real estate 9 years. I've been in the top 500 in 2023, top 1,000 in 2024. I've sold over 200 homes here in the Charlotte market, North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm licensed in both states. So I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing here, and I want to help you out to get you on the market and make sure you're in the best position to buy, sell, or invest. So I'm going to start with buying. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer and you've never bought a home before, a lot of people compare it to drinking water from a fire hose, which what it means is basically that it's very overwhelming. And it can be very, learn as you go type of situation. You're dealing with mortgages, you're dealing with pre-approvals, you're dealing with, inspections, appraisals, and all that fun stuff. So before you get into all that, 2 steps I'm going to give you. Step number 1 is you talk to a real estate broker. Now, what I would recommend is you interview a few real estate brokers and you see which agent fits for you, who has the most experience, who has experience in a certain market or area, and you just get on a phone with an agent and you just kind of get to know them a little bit, learn about their business, learn about their practices, how they do things, and see if it's a good fit for you. Because what I've experienced that if you're working with a client or client's working with a real estate agent and they're not on the same page, things can go bad. What I mean by that is that deals can fall through, miscommunication, because you want to make sure your agent is communicating with you through every step. What I like to do is I over communicate. Like, I communicate too much almost. I try to keep my clients in the loop on every single step, and even to the point where it's like, should I tell them this part of it? But no, I want to tell them everything, full transparency, because you need to be aligned with your agent to ensure that everything is going right and everything is on schedule to close. Because if one thing goes wrong, it could throw everything for a loop, right? So you want to make sure that you are aligned with the right agent. You want to have that conversation first. Talk to 2 or 3 real estate agents, interview them, and see if it's the right fit for you. Now, what I typically tell my buyers is after you have that conversation with a real estate agent, you want to talk to a mortgage broker. Now, what I usually suggest is that I know 2 or 3 brokers that I would suggest. Now, you can use whoever you want. That's totally fine. I don't care who you use as far as your broker, but I will tell you that I use mortgage brokers that know the market, are in the market, are productive, and are on the same level as far as communication and work ethic. So I would tell you, future buyer, you want to interview as many mortgage brokers, anywhere from 2 to 5 mortgage brokers, to see who you work best with. Not only that, some companies offer different perks or incentives than the other company, and you might be able to get good incentives, good pricing, good rates if you work with a certain company. So interview a handful of mortgage brokers. So once you have your realtor, once you have your mortgage, and you get your pre-qualification done, that's basically a general, this is how much I can afford, you can formally go out and start searching properties with your agent after you sign the buyer agency agreement. Because once you have that pre-approval letter that says I can afford up to X amount, you can formally submit an offer. So those are your first 2 steps to get you in position to buy your first home. Now, say you own a home and you're thinking about selling your home. Now, first step, talk to a listing agent. You want to interview a listing agent. You want to do a listing appointment. You want them to go through the house with you, walk through the house, see what needs to be done before a property's list. And then a good listing agent is going to go over the numbers with you, go over the figures, give you an idea of what the market is doing in your area, in your neighborhood. And you want to have that conversation. You want to interview a few agents to do that. You want to make sure that they are up for the job, they know the market, they are experienced enough to sell your home. Next step is if you're looking to sell to buy, you also want to get that pre-approval done. So you've been through the buy process before, but you may have not remembered all the steps that were involved with buying, selling a home. So you just want your agent to kind of refresh you, and you want to make sure that you find out if you're contingent or if you're not contingent. So I'll break this down real easily. Contingent means you have to sell your home in order to buy your next home. Not contingent is you don't have to sell your home in order to buy your next. Now, this is all matter of financing and financial situation with your mortgage broker, and you talk to them about this. So if you're contingent on selling your home, you don't have the funds available to buy your next home, you need to use the funds from your current home to buy your next. And if you're not contingent, you have the funds and you have the means available to buy your next home if you don't have to sell your home. So contingent, not contingent. Now, when you're getting your house ready to list, you want to make sure you price it right. You don't want to overprice it. You want to price it accordingly to what the market's telling you. And things I like to tell my clients are deep clean, declutter, depersonalize. You want to deep clean that house because photos and people will see every speck of dust when they're doing a showing in your house. Declutter, you want to make it look as empty as possible, but still make it feel like home. And what was the third one? Deep clean, declutter, depersonalize. Yes, depersonalize. You want to make sure you take down all your personal photos, anything personal you want to hide, put away. You can always put it back after photos are done, but you want to take those down before photos. So deep clean, declutter, depersonalize. Okay. You want to price your house right. You want to get it ready. You want to get it on the market. Ideally, you want to list it on a Thursday or Friday, so you leave that open for showings for the weekend. After that first weekend, at least in the Charlotte market, you should have a gauge of where you stand. And are you priced too high? Are you priced too low? And you could have the perfect house, and it may not be in the right area, and you may not get multiple offers. In 2020, 2021, we were getting multiple offers, 30 offers, crazy, right? So if you don't get multiple offers, you might be priced wrong, or you might not be in the right area. So, and for investors, this is a tough time for investors because right now there is not great opportunities out there, because the way it works with investment property, certain things need to line up, right? Like the price point needs to be priced right for you to buy. The interest rate needs to be low enough for you to be able to purchase. And also you got to look at the factors like what's the rental rates in your area. Is it a short term, mid term, or long term? So certain things factor into that. So if you're a real estate investor and you're looking right now, what you want to do is first, talk to an agent who is well versed in investment properties. You want to do that. Next, you want to look at stuff that's on market and off market, because you never know what you might find that might be off market that somebody may be looking to sell, maybe looking to unload. You might connect with somebody who has multiple properties and they're looking to sell some. And you also want to look into your different types of financing. Now, there's so many different ways you can buy a rental property with an investment property. There's so many different ways. I mean, you can buy it in cash. Obviously, you can finance it through a mortgage, right? Now, if you do a mortgage, they're going to require 15% down for a down payment because it's an investment property. Now, the higher down payment that you put down, the lower that payment's going to be, and that's going to make your margins a little bigger. So what I mean by margins is basically what your property's mortgage is and how much can you rent it for. And most investors want a large enough margin to where after the mortgage, all the expenses, if that rental amount is higher than that, then you have a little bit of a margin where you're making some profit. Now, what I'm seeing now in these times in 2025, where the interest rates are kind of higher, and also you got to factor in interest rates for rental properties are a little bit higher too, so factor that in as well. that margins are so slim right now that finding an investment property where your mortgage and how much you can rent it for are very, very slim. So there's several things that factor into that. Now, say you're at a point where you're breaking almost even, you're making a little bit of profit. In this market, that's a win. Like, because if that rate drops down, the interest rate, and you want to refinance it, you can. If you want to, say, buy another investment property, what you can do is when that investment property earns value, you can open a HELOC or a home equity line of credit, use the equity you've earned from that investment property, and you can buy another property, put that towards your next down payment. So if you keep doing this, after a while, over and over and over again, you can build a portfolio. And that portfolio is going to make you money over time, and you can manage these properties, and that's going to make you income while you sleep, because that's what it's all about. Investors want to make money while they sleep. Now you might be telling yourself, Kurt, I don't want to be a landlord. Well, okay, well that's another thing you want to factor in. Do you want to be a landlord or not? If you don't want to be a landlord, you can hire a property management company. They're going to charge you a percentage, but they're going to take that worry off your hands. They'll call you when something happens, or they'll just send you a check, right? Or you say, you know what, I don't want to invest. I don't want to be an investor. Totally fine. That's, if it's not your cup of tea, then so be it. So here are a few things that I would recommend for buyers, sellers, investors to get ready for the spring market. We're expecting a pretty high volatile market. We're getting a lot of people moving here to the Queen City. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. And I strongly recommend, if you have any questions, you can DM me directly. And oh yeah, I wanted to tell you too. So thank you for staying to the end. I want to give some advice to you real estate agents out there, okay? The real estate market is not it's a tough industry. It's a very tough industry with a high failure rate, right? 80% of agents fail within the first 5 years. It's a tough industry. And you might experience ups and downs. I've been doing this for 9 years. I mean, I'm still managing ups and downs and emotions. It's just part of the game. What I will say is, if you take care of your client will take care of you. And what I mean by that is, when you have a client, treat them like you would treat your family, right? You want to treat your client like your own brother, your own sister, your mother, your father, because you, as a real estate agent, you need to focus on the relationship with your client. Don't focus on the transaction. Do not focus on the transaction. Because if you start thinking about it as money and not as a person, you're gonna fail out of this business. It's the golden rule. It's as true as day, as true as the sky is blue, that if you are so focused on making money rather than taking care of your clients, you're gonna fail out. It's just inevitable. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna be so focused on money, and you never wanna cash that paycheck in your head until the property is on record. Because when somebody gets a property under contract, they're already thinking, okay, what do I got to do with this? Like, I got to pay my bills. I got to do this. I want to buy this car. I want to buy these clothes. Don't do that. You take care of your client, and the client will take care of you, and the rest will fall into place. Don't ever spend the money until it's in your paycheck. And don't forget to take out taxes with that too. Hire a good CPA. If you're a real estate agent, it's so important to take care of your money. Take care of your clients first. That's it. Take care of your clients, they'll take care of you. So I appreciate your time. Hope you all have a great weekend. Take care.